remember talking to you, and it's funny because, like, if someone talks to me first, I am all in talking to them, and it's very exciting for me when someone talks to me first. I'm like, oh, new acquaintance, new friend, like, let's chat. But, oh my god, it's so nerve-wracking for me to make the first move on anyone.
And now for my next number.
I don't think y'all ready for this.
I'd like to return to the classics.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, non-binary familia. Welcome to the JTX Podcast.
Welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and non-binary beings, I highly doubt y'all can actually hear me with this. I am currently on a little vacation, you could say, and decided to come to LA. I don't know, I highly doubt y'all can hear me right now, but I'm gonna make sure to show some highlights, I guess. Probably in the future with a different video. But in the meantime, what episode y'all are about to listen to is super awesome. Actually, I had to split it into two parts. So the first part is mainly with my homegirl Cyan, just talking about, you know, insecurities and how to approach them best, and like the day we first met and stuff like that. And the second part of the video, which is part 2, that will probably come out in about a week or in 2 weeks. It's mainly about me, as narcissistic as it sounds. Kind of what makes me want to get into nude photography, boundaries, and other stuff, but that's for a later episode. Now, with that being said, sit back, relax, and enjoy the... I haven't thought of her name for her, so whatever I put on the description, that's her name. Cyan. I definitely am a little bit rusty with all of this. I haven't done this in like...
No, take your time with everything.
I think it was... No, it was August?
Oh, really?
Well, I mean, like, here, it was July. That was the last time
podcast?
I did. Yeah, here. But after it was in August.
Where'd you do your other one? Or your last one?
At my best friend's house. Yeah, because
cool.
he died. My dad died, so I went straight after the funeral.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm doing it for fun. It's not like I'm doing it for, you know, like I know I'm never gonna get.
Every podcast starts out as fun, and then
True.
It grows in popularity.
Or even like art and photography, right?
Yeah, same thing. Exactly.
I mean, I think, what is it? I've been doing it for a year now, and I'm only barely on. Well, I have 3 episodes that I haven't brought out, but it's like episode 23, I guess. I don't know. So
cool.
Yeah, dude.
So you haven't posted all of your podcasts yet?
I only have 3 that I haven't posted. One of them was from a year ago with my dad, and that's all in Spanish. So it's just like either I find somebody to voice act it as my dad,
or dub it, or like sub it,
or sub it. Yeah, exactly. Or I would be dubbing the whole thing too, just being like, you hear my voice, and then I'll be acting my dad's voice in like a very weird manner. And
That'd be funny.
Nowhere near a VA in any way, so it'd be hella weird.
You have the control though.
I do.
What your voice sounds like. You could be another person.
True. I've been practicing with people who do. Have you been getting phone calls for scamming shit? Like.
Oh yeah, I get phone calls. Well, you know, I don't know if this is good content for the podcast. I don't know if are we running it?
I mean, technically, yeah, we're already started.
Oh,
like
okay.
That's usually how it is. It's just I literally just turn it on and whatever.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. Hi. I didn't know it was on. Yeah, we could get started. But yes, I get spam calls about, you know, the thing where it's like, I wanted to reach out to you to talk about your extended car warranty.
Bro, every fucking time.
I get those like once a week.
For reals?
Mm-hmm.
I
It's
probably
so funny though.
it is, but is yours a robot or is yours an actual person?
It's an actual person actually,
Wow.
and it's usually a woman. It's a voice recording though. I think it's not like I'm not actually talking to someone, but it is. It doesn't sound like a robot. It sounds like a real person.
Mine always sounds like a robot.
Oh really?
Yeah, yeah. That's why. But I get the what was it? So over a year ago, I got a call saying like, "This is the IRS. We're here because there's an investigation open on you. Can you please verify your name?" And my stupid ass was like, "Billy Dingleberry." And then he's like, "Okay, Mr. Dingleberry. Well, just to let you know, we have a case number for you, which is like 5 something something something.
Yeah.
Did you know that you owe more than $10,000 to the
Oh my
IRS?"
God.
I'm just like, holy shit! Like, why didn't anybody tell me this? And he's like, "Oh,
Were you
it's-
joking with him?
Oh, of course.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
my name isn't Dingleberry. What?
I know.
Yeah, so he was like, "Yeah, but do not worry. You know, we do have the police on standby. But just in case, if you want to pay this off, please
Oh
go
my
to
God.
Western Union and send $10,000." And I'm just like, I ended up being like, "Okay, just to be sure, can you give me my social number to
Yeah.
be sure it's me?" And he's like, I cannot release that classified information. I'm just like,
God.
I just said I'm the person, so why are you not going to give me? And then eventually he got mad and just hanged up, and I was just like,
Yeah.
okay. So
It's so I don't know how people fall for them unless you're like an elderly person
100%.
or you're very, very, very gullible.
did you know the word gullible isn't in the dictionary?
I've heard that before. Oh my God.
It is.
Oh wait. Oh my God.
See, you're one of them. Okay, see, now
That
we
was
have
so bad.
we have to be
No,
careful
I'm
for you
actually-
now, because I'm scared that you might get scammed now.
I have well, I haven't been scanned, but a couple times I have like believed it for the first minute for sure. No, I'm really gullible. Like I'm actually, I remember when I was in middle school, I was at my middle school dance and I believed it for like 2 seconds, but my friend said, "Hey, did you know that there's gullible written on the ceiling?" And I looked up, I'm like, "Where?" And then it kind of clicked like a second later. But
Oh.
I'm pretty gullible because I like to believe people. I don't really doubt people first. So I guess I'm like kind of a 2, maybe nice person.
Well, that's
and
you're very optimist though. That's the thing, right?
It's funny because like I sometimes am optimist around friends and family, but I'm actually like kind of a pessimist too. At least I think I am a pessimist because like I do struggle with I think depression. I'm not I haven't been diagnosed, but I believe
But you
I
have
depression.
symptoms and you go through these motions and you're just like, fuck it.
Yeah, so since I kind of have anxiety and depression, I am very pessimist at times about a lot of things. So I think I'm both pessimist and optimist.
But are you pessimist on your own then?
Yeah, more pessimist on my own, like in my head by myself. I'm more pessimist. And then when it comes to like things that I'm doing, even with job hunting right now,
Yeah.
I'm kind of pessimist about it. So I think more me, I'm very pessimist, but with other people, I try to be
yeah, that's
optimist.
it.
So
And I mean, I think that's probably you just being there for other people though, right?
yeah,
Because I'm assuming you've been in situations where you probably didn't have somebody being very positive or optimistic with you, and you kind of want to give that to other people.
well, I think I will kind of a little bit disagree because
Yeah, of course.
my
Also, before I forget, you can like say I'm wrong in everything, and I'm okay with it.
I don't know.
So,
I'm not saying that well,
I'm wrong.
I don't want to say you're wrong.
No, I'm totally
but
wrong.
I want
Okay,
I
I'm
want to
wrong.
explain some backstory to why that probably isn't true. But my mom actually was pretty optimist towards me. She always believed in me and let me do what goal I wanted to do
Yeah.
as far as career and stuff. So she was very positive towards me and cheered me on.
Mm-hmm.
So I did get optimism from her, and sometimes my dad, but mostly my mom.
Mm-hmm.
But I think just me as a person and my personality, I mean, me and my sister are only 2 years apart, so we kind of grew up in the same like level and same household and everything, but we're very different. And I think me as a person, it's just I kind of am more of a listener. Like when people have issues or when my friends have problems that they're expressing, I don't really, I guess, tell them, oh, forget about it, or just like kind of distract them. I like to be there, mostly listen. I do try and offer like not tips, but try and offer words that help them, but for the most part I'm like listening. And yeah, I feel like I got that from my parents, but at sometimes I would have like friends who didn't really listen, so I was more the listener in our friendships. So I don't think I got that much like attention as far as listening with my friends growing up in middle school and high school, because I was kind of more of the listener friend. But yeah, I mean, just to go back on that, I think my mom did, but not really in school.
Yeah, and I guess that's kind of where I was going with, because especially, I don't know if you've ever heard this before, but you know, when we're older, a lot of the things that we didn't get when we were younger, regardless of it being family or our close circles, it affects us. Sometimes it also affects our future relationships. Like there's a reason why a lot of people end up with either narcissists or end up with very apathetic. That's closed off, right? Yeah, so very closed off people, or are attracted to that because even if they had it in small glimpse, it you know, they didn't fully have somebody who was there for them.
Yeah.
And I would definitely say like I can relate to you with that, because I grew up being the quote unquote nice guy, you know, like I will give you my attention and I will give you all of this, but in truth is the opposite with you, where it's like I was expecting something in return, and I was expecting for that person to be reciprocate in that.
Yeah, I as well were expected people to reciprocate things, but it was disappointing because it wouldn't happen all the time. Yeah, so I get that.
And then you would, I mean, not you, but I would be like, you know, what's wrong with me? Why isn't this person attracted to me? Or why isn't this person wanting to be my friend? Or why isn't this teacher being nice to me? Or my parents, you know, being a certain way?
Yeah, I understand that totally. Kind of going or continuing on that topic.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, I mean, I think I wouldn't say I'm an angry person, but I do kind of set off easily on my own, in my own head. So, like the same thing we're talking about, if I am listening to someone, or even if I, like, am doing a favor or something towards my friends that is a favor in a sense, or like I'm doing something for them, I'm not saying that they have to like pay me back every single time. Like that's kind of egotistical, but I do kind of I guess want to be appreciated,
Of course.
and I guess acknowledged. And sometimes I think either they forget about that or they don't. I think when I'm expecting maybe something else than they are doing, and I think I set myself up for disappointment because I'm expecting something when half of the time it doesn't happen. And I kind of realized like I shouldn't be blaming them because they don't know what I'm thinking. And maybe the thing that I did for them wasn't that big in their mind, but I think about a lot of small details, so I think it's a big thing. And then when I, don't feel appreciated, or when they, for instance, like don't thank me or something, I can get set off pretty easily in my own head. And that's like one of my most toxic traits about me that I don't really talk about to anyone. And I don't think people realize it either.
But also, I don't think you're in the wrong, though.
I think I'm in the wrong and I'm not in the wrong at the same time.
So the reason why I'm saying you're not in the wrong is because the whole point about friendships is to be there for another, right? And when you start learning who your real friends are, quote unquote, you start noticing that this person likes this and this person doesn't like this. Reassurance is a very important trait. A lot of people tend to disagree with this, but I think it's okay to validate and reassure people that they are good, or they're doing good, or what you did was amazing.
Yeah.
But of course that needs to be communicated regardless. And I'm not saying like after you do something for somebody, oh, don't forget to thank me. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is like, in some type of moment, just be like, hey, I do like it when people say thank you, or I do like it when people give me a gift randomly. You know? And it's important to be there like that for a friend, because they don't know our backstories. They don't know what we've gone through or we've been through. So sometimes small things like saying thank you can be such a huge thing for a person.
Yeah.
That's why I think you're not in the wrong with it. But I can assume where you're saying is that you're in the wrong with it is that you are constantly looking probably for that validation. Right?
Yeah. When I say I think I'm in the wrong and I need to work on it, is that I think I expect kind of a little bit more than what actually happens. I expect a specific thing, like, a thank you, or just to be noticed or appreciated that I have done this task, even though it was on me.
Then, huh?
I think it is noticing.
Yeah.
I think it is like being appreciated.
Yeah.
And I think I could work on that, as in like I can't really expect people to give me something back if I choose to do something for them.
Yeah.
Like, there's a good quote actually that I heard from this TV show that kind of relates to this, where if you hold the door open for someone, you can't expect them to say thank you and get mad when they don't. And I think I just need to like think about that a lot and remember that if I do something for someone on my own terms, I can't really get mad at someone for not saying thank you or not doing something back, because this is my choice to do something for them.
100%.
But at the same time, like when I think about it and I do something, it is disappointing when you don't get a thank you back or anything, that I did, and then you don't really get anything back. I don't know if that, like, I should think of that as being a normal thing and like I can't think about it too much, or if I should just still be nice and still do things I'm doing for friends, but just try and not expect too much to disappoint myself.
Do you have a big circle of friends or a small circle of friends?
I would say small circle.
Okay.
I only have like a couple of close friends I talk to on a daily basis. I know a lot of, like, it's strange because I say I have a small circle, but I know a lot of people from a lot of different places, and I do talk to them, I would say, like, on a monthly or yearly basis.
Well, would you consider them friends?
Yeah, I consider them friends. I consider that I have a lot of friends that I used to hang out with and talk to and actually see in person. They aren't just like online friends. but I only talk to like a couple of people on a daily basis. Yeah, so I have
But
a
you
small
would say,
circle.
and just to be sure, you've always been in a very social environment then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have social anxiety, so I haven't had a easy time making friends, but I've always had friends. Like I've never not had someone to talk to. Yeah. But I have a social anxiety for sure. I still have it. Like when I think about meeting new people, it like it really stresses me out. And sorry, go on.
No, I cut you off because I'm actually gonna go into something with that one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, to continue that, like, I want to make a lot of friends. Like, that's my goal, to meet a lot of people and to get to know them and become friends with them. But the anxiety of, like, doing that is very high for me. It's very hard for me to do that. And sometimes I make a fool out of myself because I try and act very friendly and do the, I guess, normal stuff you would do to make a new friend or an acquaintance. But yeah, sometimes my anxiety gets to me and I act very strange sometimes, like around them. As in, I embarrass myself mostly.
So you trip and
I trip.
fall. Okay.
Yeah, I trip and fall in my
Accidentally
head.
have soda spill like come out of your nose or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Something like that. But it's just, I still have anxiety about making friends for sure.
You really, so you bring that up. I really find it curious on the day that we did meet, which was at the State University's Japanese Culture Club party that they had at City Nights. Like, what was going through your head that day then? Do you remember? Like, because you were in a very social... You don't remember?
I don't remember that day.
What?
Wait, it was at City
Nights.
City Nights.
Do you remember the Halloween party?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's
no,
what
I'm
I'm
sorry.
saying.
I thought you said it was at SF State, and I'm like,
No,
I don't
SF State.
recall that.
They had the Japanese culture club.
Oh, yeah,
at that club.
I remember that.
Yeah,
it was
yes.
in the city, though.
Yeah, it was in the city. So,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
how do you even prepare yourself to go to a Halloween event like that? And, like...
That's kind of I don't know, that's like a rare thing for me to do, because I went alone. I didn't go with anyone. And I think I was I don't know. I think I was a freshman or sophomore. I don't remember.
You were
but
a freshman, I think.
Maybe
yeah.
I was a freshman.
Yeah.
And I wanted to join a lot of clubs at the time
Mm-hmm.
to obviously make acquaintances and friends. And I knew that they're having a Halloween party, which seemed really fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I do like the idea of going to those big events. So I went by myself. And it was pretty fun. Like, I remember the venue. It was very, typical, like, Club Central of San Francisco. And I was dressed up in, like a I don't know, some
I
sort of
forgot what you were
costume.
dressed up.
I was, like, wearing a Hawaiian shirt or something.
I think so, yeah.
I was, like, trying to be a vacation girl. I don't even know.
That's fine.
But, I know that I started talking to you, like, while we were sitting at a booth area.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually don't remember who said the first word, if it was me or you.
I'm assuming it was definitely me. Because for me, at that time, I was at a different point in my life. Don't hate me. I had just lost a lot of weight. And I was starting to become more social. But the socialness, and I've talked about it a lot on my podcast before, because that's kind of the whole point of, like, change in the person, right? That point in my life, I was learning how to do pickup artistry. Do you know what that is?
Not really.
So learning how to learning psychology, non-scholarly way, and picking up women, like learning how to take women back to your place and shit like that. And at that time, I was, like, fairly new with it, but my goals were to just, like, learn how to have conversations, how to, like, approach and be rejected as much as possible and being okay with rejection.
Mm.
So I'm pretty sure I was the one who had like the first conversation with you.
I think you were. Yeah.
Do I remember what we talked about now at all?
No.
No.
But yeah, I do remember talking to you, and it's funny because like if someone talks to me first, I am all in talking to them, and it's very exciting for me when someone talks to me first. I'm like, oh, new acquaintance, new friend, like let's chat. But oh my god, it's so nerve-wracking for me to make the first move on anyone.
Like you're afraid what they're gonna think, or
yeah,
like they're gonna be like,
I'm gonna be like, hi, like I know you don't know me, but I'm here alone and I just want to enjoy my time. Like I don't know what to say as a conversation starter to a stranger, you know.
Imagine learning how to do that and like people just saying no or like saying what do you want probably 20 times a day. Like during that time, I was doing that. What you're nervous about, I was doing that consistently almost every single day.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I tried that tactic and the outcome was the same, like people are like, oh, I don't really want to talk to you. Yeah, that would totally defeat my self-confidence.
You'll be like, I don't think people like me, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I've always had anxiety and worries about tripping, you know, in trying to get to meet someone new, because it has happened before where I try and have a conversation with a stranger, or even if someone introduces someone new to me, and it's just like I get anxious and my brain goes blank, and I'm like, I don't really know what to say. I try and say, like, I say hi and I'm like, how are you doing? But kind of beyond that, it's a little hard for me to, I guess, come up with something, because I have this kind of, it's kind of bad to think about it in this way, and I really need to work on it. But
I'm curious. Okay.
Like, when I think someone is, I guess, more confident than me, or I guess cooler than me, I would say more confident than me, and I kind of could see that they're a confident person, that's when I trip and mess up a lot, because, oh, you're confident and you're cool, so I don't want to seem uncool and unconfident around
and that's when
you.
Eventually.
And that's why I trip up a lot. But then, I know this is like kind of not a great way to think about this, but when I think about...
It's subjective. I'm letting you know.
Subjective,
It's
okay.
subjective,
Yeah.
whatever you think. So, regardless, I want you to feel free. If not, it's totally cool.
No, I'll explain it. But the other side of it is that if someone doesn't seem, I guess, as confident as I am, it's more easier to talk to them. Like, if I, for instance, like, I'm feeling pretty confident that night or that day.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to talk to new people, but someone either, like, doesn't seem as outgoing or as confident, because I could kind of
more
read
reserved,
the room.
you would say?
Yeah, more reserved. It's more easier for me to go up to them and talk to them, because I feel like I would be in control of the conversation. And that's kind of a thing for me, where I need to be in control of a lot of things. So when I talk to someone who is very confident and outgoing, and I know that they'll probably have control of the conversation and maybe think that I'm not cool enough, so I trip up. But when it's the other way around, I'm more comfortable having conversation, because I feel like I'm not going to trip up and embarrass myself as much. And I don't know why I think like that, but I should stop thinking like that, because it just it prevents me from actually talking to everyone.
Yeah, it sounds like it's self-sabotage, right?
Yeah, it is. It is self-sabotage.
But you're not wrong, though, also. And I think, mind you, I'm not a doctor, so everything I'm saying is coming out of my ass. But it's like, I'll use it as the best example. At the gym, there are people who are stronger than me and like better, more built, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm working out, part of me is like, holy shit, they're gonna look at my form. They're gonna think of me in a certain way if I don't lift a certain amount, shit like that. But then the other side is, I see people who are not as built as I am or is trying, and it's like I lift heavy, but because of that, I'm able to also, I guess, be a catalyst or be like some type of like drive for that person
Yeah.
to become better. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's like,
yeah,
if I
know
can
what you're
do
talking
it,
about.
why can't you do it? No, it's not if I can do it, why can't you do it? It's more like, if I could do it, I know you could do it too.
Mm-hmm.
But it's that comfortability with the other person, right?
Yeah.
So I definitely I don't think it's wrong. I think it would be more wrong if, and it's subjective once again, but if it was like, people who are more reserved and more shut in, like, I'm better than you, so I have no issue talking to you. But you're not coming at it that way. The way you're coming is like somebody
No,
who's
I'm
more
not,
equal in a sense, or more relatable, and I can have conversations with you.
I think that is it. Oh, sorry, go on.
Oh no, I was gonna say, it's just like, meanwhile, somebody who's like more confident, I can't relate to you as much, but I'm gonna try to have conversations with you.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna probably
Embarrass myself.
yeah, throughout the whole time.
That's what happens.
And that's totally okay, though. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. I was going to say, it's not about me thinking I'm better than someone else, or like, if I thought that way, then I wouldn't want to talk to people. But I really do want to talk to everyone. But there is like totally a divide in comfortability with talking to people who are more comfortable and like confident in themselves, to people who don't seem that confident in themselves, because I used to come from a personality that was not comfortable in myself at all. So I think since I used to be like that, and I know like that kind of range of being unconfident in yourself, it's more easier for me to identify those people and chat with them. But since I'm right now working on my confidence, and these people who seem, at least on from the outside, that they are very confident in themselves, it kind of scares me. I'm like, whoa, what is this? Like, because I never have been familiar with that before. And that's where I like trip, because I think I'm going to embarrass myself in front of these confident people. But yeah, that's kind of like my psychology in meeting new people.
So, Cyan 101?
Cyan 101?
Yeah, psychology. It's your
yes.
psychology in meeting people.
Yeah, my psychology. And I think that's actually for most people. Like, I think even someone who is very outgoing and very confident in themselves, they have doubts about themselves as well. And they all, like, there's always a higher person in their head. Always. Like, even a boss, like, there's always a boss for that boss. So I think it's the same thing, where it's like, even if you think that this person's like the most confident person, there's always someone else that they look up to or are like scared of in a way. So I think it goes for actually everyone, but just on different levels.
For sure.
Yeah.
Except me, but for sure.
Except you.
Except me. No.
So you say that you aren't like, you don't see people as, oh, this is like up here in their confidence level, and like I'm not at their standards yet, or you don't think there's people like at levels of confidence. You kind of just don't think about that. And like, yeah, I mean, I think it's better to also think like that, to not have levels for people about thinking someone is confident or not confident, and being able to talk to them easier because of that. I am trying to actually work on being like that, where I don't think about that. But it really goes back to like who was the popular kid in school sort of thing. I think it's that same dynamic where I was, you're afraid to talk to the popular kids at school, and if you do, you trip up. But it's not that nerve-wracking to talk to people who, weren't popular in school.
I mean, so the way I see it, and this is kind of something I've gone over with my team at my job recently, because a lot of them are younger than me. They're like in their early 20s. And I tell them it doesn't matter who they are. It could be the district manager. Go up to them and say, hey, my name is Jesse, and strike up a conversation. Say hi. Because in the end of the day, if you put people on a pedestal, you're just going to be worried about anything you say. You can't be worried about it. There's a quote that I like a lot, much like you were bringing up. Be who you are, say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind.
I've heard that before.
It's one of my favorite quotes. It's a quote I learned back in 2013.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who they are. People, if they don't like you, they don't like you. Whatever you want to talk about, if you want to talk about fucking anime and they're cool with that, awesome. If they're not, I'll just go to the next person. I don't care. You're boring to me.
Yeah.
And this is coming from a guy who had that social anxiety, and I still do to an extent. Yeah. But it's the confidence. It's learning. It's something you learn, not something you're born with. So the more you experience with other human beings, the more you learn about different characteristics, and you start noticing that everybody has the exact same 6 characteristics, but just different personalities. You start seeing, I can just talk to you. I have no issue with that. But the thing is how you come off as. Because if you're not socially calibrated or socially lubricated, I guess, you can come off creepy. You can come off very needy. You can come off very cocky.
Yeah.
There's certain things that you can come off as, and that might not be the way you're trying to approach it, but because you're not keenly aware of how you are, that's where the fuck up really comes into play.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that it's not a good way to think about like talking to people, as it's kind of hard though, because I think a lot of people were, I guess, always thought since high school or middle school about a, I guess, class tier system that they made for themselves as far as like being popular or not. And I think because that's so prevalent in school, then people think like that and start to think like that. And unfortunately, I still think like that psychologically.
The hierarchies. It's the hierarchies.
Yeah. And I know that that's like pretty much bullshit. And it's a societal pressure on everyone. And I don't want to think like that, where these people are higher up, or these people are more confident, or these people are like the popular kids, so like it's hard for me to like talk to them. I don't really want to think like that, and I want to break that thought process. And vice versa, where it's like, vice versa, where people who I think aren't as confident, like, oh, I could talk to them easily, like, I want to see people on the same level, because I know that in the end, like, nobody really gives a shit, and you only have one life, so why are you worrying about, this? I do definitely want to get there, but it's just really hard.
But I think that's a perfect good step, or first step maybe for you or for a lot of people. You said it perfectly. You only have one life, and people really don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I went to the gym a week ago on Halloween in the Pikachu costume. And I worked out, and people were just doing their own thing. There were some people who were like filmed it, you know, but I was just like, people just don't give a shit. And
Yeah.
you know, I think that is a perfect first step. Just having that, and of course, it's not gonna be tomorrow where you're just gonna be like, oh shit, like I can do whatever I want. No, it's gonna be over time.
Yeah.
You know, so you can't beat yourself up because of past situations with schools and the hierarchies. And if you want me to tell you right now, they are prevalent. It is a thing. You know, I can tell you right now, if you get a job, there's going to be hierarchies and there's going to be cliques.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, and the question is, are you going to give into that, or are you going to play by your own rules?
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely am aware of like cliques in the workforce for sure. Yeah, and I think that's always going to be a thing though. But yeah, it depends on if you don't want to be a part of that or have yourself sink into that, you know. So I'm trying to work on that.
I think you're on a good journey for that. I really do.
Thanks.
It's never too late.
Yeah, I know. It's never too late.
Yeah.
And I think this kind of ties in, but the reason why I worry if someone doesn't like me is because for some reason I actually can't stand the thought of knowing that people don't like me. I don't know if that's like kind of a weird thing to say or not, but if I know that someone doesn't like me, for instance, whether I did something bad or they did something bad, I can't stop thinking about it. Even if there was a bully who bullied me and I did nothing wrong, but I knew that they didn't like me, I literally would try everything to help them get to like me. Because I'm not really that person where it's like, well, screw you too. I think I don't know, like, I've never really had an enemy that we were both enemies. Maybe, like, and for sure people don't like me, and maybe, like, I didn't know about people not liking me, and sure, there's people out there that don't like me, but if I know that they don't like me and I don't like them, like, I really don't like that kind of dynamic. It's just like hate both ways sort of thing, and it's just, I can't really stand it. And I think it goes even for like if I know that someone doesn't like me, I want to try and prove myself to them that, oh, I don't know why you like me, but I want to prove that I'm an okay person. So
let me ask you, you know, do you think if you don't like somebody, if you don't like somebody, do you think what you think of them is their business?
Sorry, say that again.
Okay,
like,
so let's say you don't like me. Let's say you fucking hate me.
Okay.
Which is true right now. You fucking hate me right now.
I fucking hate you.
Thank you. You proved me right. No. Do you think that whatever you think of me, like, I should know what you think of me? Do you think that it's my business to know what you think of me?
No. I mean, if I don't like someone, I mean, yes, I've not liked people before.
Of course.
No, I don't ever tell them, like, oh, I don't like you because of ABC.
So it's none of their business, right?
No, I don't. Yeah, it's none of their business.
Cool.
If they did something wrong, obviously I'll have that conversation.
Yeah, but also if it's somebody that you genuinely, in a sense, care enough to want to let them know about that, right?
Yeah, I mean, if a friend did something wrong that I didn't like, yeah, I would tell them.
Of course.
But when it comes to having an enemy, I guess, in a sense, like not a friend, but someone that you actually don't like.
Yeah.
No, I never like let them know that I don't like them.
Okay, so if people don't like you, do you think that's your business?
No.
Okay.
It's not my business, but if I find out about it, I can't stop thinking about it.
Which, rightfully so, you're human.
Yeah.
Right. So in the end of the day, if someone thinks of you a certain way because they have their own narrative about you,
Mm-hmm.
should it really matter what they think of you?
It shouldn't. Like, I know
Okay.
it shouldn't.
But because of the type of personality you have, you start questioning yourself
Yeah.
and you start wondering, am I really this type of person?
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
if I know what they think about me,
Mm-hmm.
even if they didn't directly tell me, if I somehow find out, or even if they did tell me,
Mm-hmm.
like, I would really doubt, like, oh, am I actually like that, you know?
There's a rule of thumb where it's like, if it happens 3 times, maybe you should start thinking that it is your fault. Not you specifically, but
Yeah, there's
have
like
you ever,
something.
yeah, have you ever thought about that? Like,
Yeah.
if not even just this one person, but multiple people keep saying the exact same thing about me.
Yeah, of course. If people say the exact same thing about me, and if I hear it more than once from multiple people,
Mm-hmm.
I definitely will reflect and be like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
what are they seeing
Mhm.
that is negative about me?
Mhm.
I definitely think about that, and if that's true, then I would look into myself and try and work on that.
For sure.
So, like, I
But
guess
do you trust these people who are saying these things, though?
I guess
Or-
it depends on the person. Like, it could be family and I trust them, and it could be friends and I trust them, but if it's strangers, like, I know that they could be lying or it's not true what they're saying, but I still think I beat myself over.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's hard not to.
Yeah.
I don't like to. I mean, okay, so for me, going back to what we were talking about, the whole pickup artistry thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that shit really fucked me up a lot because it got to the point where, I guess I was overindulging in myself and like the capabilities that I truly had, and eventually I started getting a lot more people calling me a creep or calling me a perv and calling me all these things, and it was hard. It's hard not to realize it until you start hearing it a lot more,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
But the more time passes by and the more you start really working on yourself, and the same people keep calling you that, you start learning about yourself better, knowing that I know myself well enough to know that they're wrong.
Yeah.
So that's why, I guess, the reason why I was asking all these questions is because, you should always trust yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, have that safe person to talk to. But you can't, go through the motions, but just remember, you got to trust yourself.
Yeah. I know for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that usually, like, if someone has a vendetta against me,
Mm-hmm.
it's just like their problems that they're going through.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that I shouldn't take it personally if they actually do not like me about, for some reason.
Yeah.
But it wasn't my doing or my fault. And I know that I shouldn't take it personally, but I still do think about it, and I still do wonder, like, oh, I wonder why they think that, or they got to thinking that way about me. And I'm saying all this mostly as example because I'm not saying this has happened a lot. Thankfully,
Because if they have, you would have told me. I would have gone beat them up. So I got you. It's
yeah, I
all
would
right.
have listed names.
Exactly.
I'm just kidding. So yeah, this hasn't happened a lot to me. I don't even know, like, specific people that have had vendettas against me.
Mm-hmm.
I think definitely more high school for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, high school and middle school, like, everyone said everything.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
It is horrible.
It was honestly horrible.
Yeah.
But once I got to, like, college, it was much more,
Chill.
huh?
Much more chill.
Much more chill. Yeah. People didn't really give a shit in college. Like,
Yeah,
honestly, I kind of realized that people don't give a shit about, unless they're your friend or they're themselves. So, I realize that, but yeah, I'm saying most of this as example, and like instances where in my head I freak myself out to like if I know that someone doesn't like me for some reason, then yeah, I like don't like that and I kind of rethink everything. But yeah, this is
Also, if you don't like her, I'm gonna beat your ass up. Just let y'all know right now. You're like the sweetest person
Oh
I've
my
ever
God.
met, man. Come on.
Thank you.
You're hella sweet.
Yeah, thanks for the little warning for everyone.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, yeah. I'm gonna put like a big ass red label right now, just says warning. You know, just giving them a heads up right now.
Yeah, I don't want to be like that person that says, "Oh, if you don't like me, then it's your fault."
Fuck off.
No, I don't want to be that person.
See, I am, but I'm that person though. I'm that person who's like, if you don't like
I'm
me,
not
fuck
a
off.
fuck off person.
Fuck
oh my
off.
God, no.
Like, you know, it's
I try and make amends with them.
life's too short.
I know,
Life's too
but
short to make amends with people that are not gonna like you, and it's okay if they don't like you. Like,
I know it's okay, and I know that it really doesn't
unless it's
matter.
somebody you do want to be friends with. That's a whole different story.
Yeah, that is a different story.
Yeah.
But I am talking about people who are like not really close friends or family, people who are mostly strangers or like acquaintances or like coworkers, you know. If a friend, and that has happened before, where like me and my friends get in arguments, like we disagree, but I'm never like, oh fuck you. And even with family members, I know family members obviously get in disagreements. I do get that way with my sister. I think that's the closest I get to saying screw you.
Shit.
I definitely get that way with my sisters. But no, I would never cross that line with a stranger or even friends. Like I would never really cross that line. But mostly strangers, because I don't want them to have a bad perception of me at first, you know.
For sure, if it's a first impressions, I can agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. You know, treat me with respect, and I'll treat you with respect when we first meet. I'm not going to say obscenities to you right away. You know, say outlandish shit, and
Yeah.
I agree with that. But after all of that, and they still don't like me or you or whatever, you know, all right, fuck off. I don't care, you know.
Yeah. In my head, like I will say, oh, this person doesn't matter. I'll try and forget about them. Like in a sense, I guess that is my screw you kind of wording.
Small steps.
Small steps.
Small steps.
To saying screw you and buzz off.
Yeah.
I guess that's my version of screw you, where it's like I'm gonna just like not say anything and ghost them in a way, and just try and forget about it.
Okay.
But maybe we'll talk about ghosting next.
Sure.
Yeah, but I am not that person that's like either message them or in person to tell them to screw off.
No, for sure. No. I mean, no. You know, I'm not gonna text somebody and be like, "Fuck you." Like, I'll say it to their face if we're having a conversation. Just be like, "I want nothing to do with you anymore." You know?
Yeah. Well, as an example, like for instance, if an acquaintance or coworker came up to me, or even if I like heard it from someone that said like, oh, like I don't like you, or they don't like you because you did this, or they're jealous or whatever, my first thought process is not to say, well, screw that person. It's to actually like, oh, like I wonder if I could change their mind about myself, or about I wonder if I could change their mind about me. Yeah, and because I feel kind of bad that they think about me that way, so I want to change their mind about me.
But you said it perfectly. Also, you said coworkers.
Yeah.
You kind of have to work with these people. So yeah, of course you're gonna want to have them change your mind. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I know that like I really shouldn't give a shit, and I really should just walk away for most circumstances. But it's something that I'm trying to learn to do, to not care.
And also, this doesn't mean it's set in stone. It's case by case.
Yeah, it is.
It's not like I'm gonna say fuck you to every single person out there. Yeah. It's just there's gonna be people who might disagree with me and they might call me names and I'll be like, all right, cool. Like I don't care. Fuck off. I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you want to ask a question?
I will ask you my last question, which is the question that I ask everybody.
Sure.
But just to be sure, nothing else needs to be brought up.
No.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, we actually covered a lot.
Yeah, dude. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So, the reason why I made this podcast is, have you ever heard of the word catalyst?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yeah.
so you know what it is. Okay, cool. I don't have to.
Sort of.
Okay, so
Explain
a
it.
catalyst is, scientifically speaking, it's a chemical that makes another chemical react faster instead of it being reacting on its own. Okay. So a catalyst is a person who gives advice or talks to somebody and it makes them jump forward versus if they were to have learned on their own. Okay.
Yeah.
What is the one thing that you've learned so far in your life that you would give out to that one person or multiple people that are listening to this? What is that one thing you would tell them?
Oh my God.
It
That's a big question.
It is a big question. I usually get that a lot. It could be from what we talked about, everything that we talked about, which probably would relate closely to it, but it could just be something you've learned so far in your life.
Yeah. Well, I think a big piece of advice is, like, I learned that people kind of, and I guess society in general, kind of like wanted me to go on a certain pathway. I mean, it's still kind of prevalent, like go to college, get a career, have 2.5 kids, work in corporation.
2.5 kids.
2.5, yeah.
Okay.
2.5 is usually exactly what they say.
Okay.
Work in corporation. And I think an advice is like, just kind of whatever you have a passion for, I would definitely consider looking into it and making it a like financial thing, like it funds you in a way.
F-U-N-D, not F-U-N.
Yeah, F-U-N-D.
Okay, cool.
It funds you.
Okay.
Funds you. I don't know. There's not an indication on the difference. But yeah, because like growing up, like for some reason, I never really thought outside the box, and I wasn't aware of nothing else but like following, like societal norms, going to college, getting that degree, getting a job, stuff like that. But I kind of realized that you only have one life. Like, we're one rock floating in nowhere, space. So it's just like, why are there so many rules on this earth that like all of us have to kind of follow? But I realized that I could do whatever I wanted to do as far as career wise and like being my own person. So yeah, I mean, I think one thing I would say to people is kind of think about what you actually want to do in life, and don't think that going into a corporate business is what you need to do, basically. And whatever passion you have, it's also good to maybe make that a thing that actually financially supports you, because then it makes it fun to make money. So I think that's kind of my advice, because I didn't realize that until like during college or after college. I had no idea about that in high school, and I was just following what other people did in high school. So I guess if people are listening to this that are like not in college yet, or even in college or past college, like it's, you know, you
If
do
you're
what
not
you
in
want.
college yet and you're not of the age of legalities, why the fuck are you watching this first and foremost?
Yeah.
Welcome, but what the fuck, bro?
I know. But maybe that's kind of a little bit of a lame answer.
It's
But
not a lame answer. You. I'm taking a pause for a reason. I really want you to know, and I mean this wholeheartedly. I've known you for a while. And don't get me wrong, the first year we probably didn't talk after that night, you know, that at the Halloween party. But I've seen your growth as best as possible. The things you say now is not something you would have said in 2019. Yeah, that was the last when we first shot.
yeah.
It's not what you would have said. I really hope you understand that what you're saying undoubtedly will help so many other people. And I hope if they're younger than you, older than you, I hope they listen to what you're saying, because I believe it's 1,000,000,000% true. There isn't one way of approaching life in any way.
Yeah.
And also the beauty of what you're saying is that you are a living example and will be even more in depth a living example of that. So don't ever forget what you're trying to do. Don't let other people or other situations discourage you.
Yeah.
Keep going at it. And I'm going to tell you, I know you were saying jokingly, but in nowhere near is that lame. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Of course. All right.
Thanks. Yeah. I think I'm kind of a hypocrite.
Stop.
No, I'm just saying that because, like, I also am still learning from what I'm saying. You know, like,
Of
I'm
course.
saying this out loud to whoever's listening, but also to myself.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and you're probably going to go back to this one day.
Yeah.
You know, and you'll hear and you'll probably be reminded of what your end goal is or what you're trying to do. That's not a hypocrite. That's somebody who is learning.
Yeah.
That's somebody who's learning.
Yeah.
Cool?
Yeah. I don't know if I could say multiple notes.
Huh?
I don't know if I could say multiple inspiration
Quotes?
things. Yeah.
Yeah, if you want.
But
Yeah. What do you want to say?
well, it's weird because like I can't really pick it up right now, but I know that I would like to share something else that is a lot, I guess, deeper, because I've been through some deep shit. But I feel like there's another thing like I want to definitely share, but I just really can't think of it. But maybe I'll tell you it another day or something.
You know what? You're more than welcome to ever come back on here if you just want to say what you feel.
Yeah.
I hope you know. I know it's not like this big ass studio or anything like that, but this space that you're here right now, you're always more than welcome to just come and just be like, I want you to shut the fuck up. And you would tell me that. And you would just be like, I just want to say some things. And we can record it. You could keep it. We could post it, whatever. We don't have to post it. But you're always more than welcome to just hit me up and come over here and record something.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, it sounds good.
All right. You want to give me a high five?
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and non-binary familia, thank you so much for checking out this episode of the JTX Podcast. I will see you next week. Actually, not next week. What's today's date? I will see you on the 3rd of December, which the next episode should be up by that time. I appreciate your patience, and I genuinely hope you know whoever's watching this, and I genuinely mean it from the heart. Thank you. I really hope whatever videos that you've watched and whatever anything that I do you've checked out, hopefully make some kind of impact. I don't know. It's just, I'm glad that, there might be somebody out there who might benefit from this, because in the end of the day, I don't know what I'm doing with these podcast episodes and these photos, but I hope you're benefiting from it. So remember, we've done shit, been through shit, and caused shit. That doesn't mean we can't change today to be somebody's catalyst for a better tomorrow. Take it easy, y'all.